right, we're back.
It's another great day in Tyria.
It's another great day.
And we're here to tell everybody all about it. It's
That's
Patch
right.
Week, guys.
It's Patch
We're
Week.
doing the show on Patch Week.
It's episode 17. It's going to be spoiler filled because we're going to be talking about the story.
Yeah, deep spoilers, full story discussion.
Yeah.
Also, do you remember when we used to do the show every 2 weeks and it would always not line up with release week?
Yeah.
Now that we line the show up with release, every release week podcast.
That's right.
Feels good. Yeah.
It's pretty good. Easy to remember.
Massive brain.
Except when we forget and we're like, oh crap, we got a show this week.
True. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll make them happen, guys. Don't worry. We'll make them happen. We're here now. That's what counts.
So welcome everyone to chat. Welcome to the show. We've got a good show, I think. It'll be a fun show.
I think we've got a good show. I think.
Yeah. You're not getting endless screen on screen, are you guys?
I know. I don't see it. I think
right,
we're okay.
Cool. Apparently, It's only happening on the pre-show screen. So
you need to do that big streamer thing where you run the stream through a completely separate computer from the one you're playing on.
It's not gonna happen.
That's what Omega Brain streamers do.
Carry on brain here, right? No. You know what? Amala, you mentioned the music in the new patch, and my first playthrough, usually music is one of the things that I catch on, or that I noticed, and I didn't notice the music at all, and I think it was my settings. I just had them low.
I have a fun fact about the music. One of the instruments, I have a viewer who's Finnish, right? Yes. And one of the instruments that plays a main role in the new tracks is like a traditional Finnish instrument. I don't know what it's called.
That's really cool.
I asked him what it was, and he told me I wouldn't be able to pronounce it. But
possibly
apparently it's because it's set in a snowy kind of dark area, right? Yeah. So they pulled music from like the actual Arctic.
I like it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and then Guild Chat was yesterday where they were talking all about the episode, and I forgot. Actually, I didn't really forget. I saw the tweet go out, and I was at work and I couldn't watch.
Well, I mean, do you watch Guild Chat like normally?
I try to like tune into like their ones about the episodes just because sometimes they say some interesting things that I hadn't noticed, and so
like we don't need another. I think I've ranted on the show before about Guild Chat. We don't need another like I don't watch Guild Chat rant, but I don't watch Guild Chat. We'll just leave it there. It's fine.
Yeah, no, the music director is on point. I really like his.
Is that still McLean Damer?
It is.
Okay, they cycle through people a lot, so I never know who's still there.
I think he is still officially their music director. I'm not sure if he is on a contract basis.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, he's spectacular. Yeah, he makes amazing stuff.
He does.
Yeah, very impressive. I definitely did notice the music. I fix because I play each patch first in RP mode, right?
Right.
And that's where I crank all my sound settings way up and then play. I like zoom in on my character and play like camera right over the shoulder.
Right. Yeah.
It's a terrible way to play. It makes me die like even in personal story instances, but I have to RP it. It's important for the first playthrough.
So my first playthrough, my plan had been to go in and take a Nornin for this playthrough where I had planned on catching up one of my Norn characters and then just playing the new episode, and that didn't happen. I kind of was like, screw this, I'm just gonna go in on my little human soul beast, and we had fun with that. And then today I was finishing up some story on the Norn, and I really like the Norn perspective that you're getting more of these are our people, those kind of voice dialogue lines. It feels a bit more meaningful, so it's kind of neat.
I haven't played on a Norn yet. I have to play it on my I play it on my Guardian.
Yes.
No matter what.
Right.
So that happened, and it's pretty standard if you're not a Norn, I guess. Like it's pretty normal stuff.
Yeah.
But the male Sylvari voice actor is my favorite voice actor.
He is really good. He's one of my favorite
player characters. I don't know who it is, but it's my favorite player dialogue. So that's kind of why I've made that character your main story progression character. Yeah. It's technically not my main at this point because I have more hours on Ranger now than I do on Guardian.
What race is your ranger?
Also Sylvari, but female.
Oh,
It's because of the W rank grind.
right.
That's why I have so many hours on that character.
Right. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you're not really looking forward to this balance patch and the changes that are coming to Ranger.
That's not true. I am looking forward to the balance patch.
Are they going to make your grind 2K a little bit better or worse, do you think?
Well, I finished 2K. I'm done with it.
So you've got your little tentacle armor now?
Yeah, haven't you seen it in raids? Didn't you see him yesterday?
I saw was your cape.
Yeah,
because
they go well.
Aaron bought a Gemstore cape. That's right.
It looks great. It's a great looking cape.
I know, but it was cape from the Gemstore.
Here's the thing. I just have to lay it down about the capes, all right?
Just let that sink in.
When the
People
cape
follow him on Twitter and Twitch.
When the first cape came out with the Gemstore, I did make fun of it a lot. And the reason
You did.
The reason is because the cape that they released in game was a joke compared to the Gemstore one, right? And I wasn't happy that they, for all intents and purposes, put capes on the Gemstore, right?
Mm-hmm.
That being said, they look pretty good.
They do. They look really nice. I never said that they didn't. But you went and bought one.
Here's the thing. The reason I bought it is because I have been in backpiece purgatory with my Guardian since the inception of the character. I've never had a backpiece in the whole game that I liked the character. And then they put the capes out, and I was like, man, that would be perfect. But the first cape they came out with wasn't quite right. The second one wasn't quite right.
You went and got the Year of the Rat one.
So the Year of the Rat one is actually dope. I love it. It's not very fearsome, right? It's a rat, but it'll do until a better one comes out. So yeah, I'm a caper, guys.
He is a caper.
Yes, I'm a caper. But if you have WW tendrils, it doesn't matter. Like, you're a whole nother level of elite. So
yeah, so no, I didn't see your tentacle armor because of the cape.
Yeah, you'll have to check it out. Chat mentioning the guild commendation one. Yeah, it barely even counts as cape.
It's
at
pretty
this point.
Sad.
It's pathetic. Yeah.
It's very little, poquito, small.
It's very light. Did those come out with Grothmar or with Bjora Marches? Whispers in the Dark, right?
Oh, I think it probably was Whispers.
Did we already talk about the capes in the last episode we did?
Probably.
We probably did. I probably roasted them really hard, didn't I?
Probably did. Which makes your buying of a Gemstore cake ironic. That's why we started roasting you in Raid the other day when we were like, wait, Aaron, you're wearing a cape from the Gemstore, no less. So, yes.
I'm proud of myself. It's the look I've always wanted.
Anyway, so other than buying capes off the Gemstore and getting your tentacle armor, you've been raiding again.
Yes, I raid on Fridays now.
Mm-hmm. With a
Doom progression.
Yes.
It's Doom progression. It's not that bad. I think so. When I was doing it first with your group, it was a 3-hour block.
Yes, on a Sunday.
And that was a bit much for Doom wiping.
Yes.
The 2-hour block I find much more manageable.
It's like, I can't stand doing this pre-event. Oh, well, look, the raid is almost over. Great.
Yeah, that last 45 minutes on the 3-hour block on the Doom progression was like...
I know, and I was like going hard after it and not like letting you guys get clears. So I was just, making you guys' souls die.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry about that.
But yeah, I think I like the 2-hour raid block a little better now, so I'll probably stick with it. Cool. And I can sense the kill. It's close.
Yeah, it's close. So it'll probably come like next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do fractals a lot. That's the other thing that's been keeping me playing. I do fractals every day.
I know, you were saying that you're feeling very PMA about the game right now.
I'm liking it. I only play like 3 hours a day, but I like it. I have my whole daily routine, right? Log in, do the strike missions, get some Itrite ingots, right? And then do some gathering, a little bit of gathering, craft some ascended materials, and then finish off with fractals. That's my daily.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, my daily routine is down to... I've cut back on my raid groups. I can't remember if last show we talked about this, because last show was probably before Christmas.
I think you meant your plans
on my
to
break.
raid groups. but you hadn't done it yet.
Yeah, so I've cut back. I dropped. I closed down 2 groups, and I dropped a third. So that brought me down from like 9 to 6 or something like that. It's still
That's an improvement. Yeah.
But it's an improvement. I've got my Wednesdays. Well, Wednesdays I wasn't raiding, but I've got my Thursday nights back. Saturdays I'm still not raiding, so it's basically just Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then a Friday night 2-hour thing.
And then you can spend the other free time not playing. The best way to spend your free time.
You know, so we'll see how it works out. But for now, it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, it feels chill, and I feel bad when I tell my raiders, I really don't care about your traits. Just run what you're supposed to be running, and don't ask me. Stop making me think for you.
It's like just when they ask you about traits, you're just like, what does the Snow Crow's website say? Run that.
I feel horrible to like take that attitude, because I'm just kind of like, I know.
You're just like, I've told you a million times.
Yeah, we're not going to go there anymore. Anyways, so we played the story.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a new episode out. This is what the people are here for. They don't care about anything else that we do.
Shadow in
the Ice. Shadow in the Ice. We are back out in Bjora Marches. Expanding the map.
The second half of Bjora Marches. What do you think of expanding the map versus a new map?
I mean, it worked well in season 2, wasn't it? That they did that with Dry Top and
did it though?
And so, I mean, Silver Waste, which owned your life for a good chunk of your history with this game.
Nobody goes in the expanded regions of Silver Waste.
Well, you know.
People only play in the meta area.
The meta area.
There's no reason to go into the rest of it.
But when the map expansion that first came out, that idea was first introduced, yeah, it felt fresh. Now I'm just kind of like, okay, we've done this before. The map is not bad.
Mm-hmm. It's a
very blizzard, I think the snow blizzard effect annoys me, but you can break yourself out of being a crystal, which is okay.
Chat's telling us that the audio is out of sync on our playback. Let me look. Let me mute my mic and look.
It's possible. Oh
yeah, it is out of sync. Oh no, it's a little bad.
Should we like bring the stream down bad?
Should we restart the stream, do you think? Should we try restarting it?
We can restart the stream. We can try it.
Yeah, we can give it a try.
All right, guys. We're going to try to re-up the stream, and then I'll do some editing for the VOD that'll go up on YouTube. Our YouTube VOD will probably be a little bit delayed because I'll have to do some audio-video syncing.
Some splicing.
Splice. And then there's also the no continue.
No, let's restart the stream. I'd like to try and fix it if at all possible.
Okay, hang on 1 second. We'll be right back, guys. Don't go anywhere. If anyone comes into chat, you can tell them what we're doing. Hang on a sec. Well, I'll try and work some magic, and I'm sorry for the distinctedness.
Yeah, we're sorry for the delay, guys.
Try to make the best of it as we can.
Yeah.
But so we were talking about the map.
Yeah.
So how does it feel to you with expanding the map rather than getting a new map?
I like new maps.
New maps are good, and you know what the thing is that like, I'm not sure if they were thinking that having everything in one map would not have it be unpopulated.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go to Eastern Bjora Marches, it's kind of not populated. So yeah, it's kind of the same thing. You know, everyone is out right now in Western Bjora Marches, so it's like...
It's funny because everybody's like, oh, well, they can't do new maps because it leads to the rest of the maps being unpopulated. And it's like, well, if you do half a map here and half a map here, it still leads to that same problem.
Right, yeah.
Just because they're in the map doesn't mean they're doing the old stuff on the map.
Mm-hmm.
The map is so distinctly split in half that it might as well be a new map.
Yes, I agree.
You know, and they have added some areas in the old side of the map but it's just like a little puzzle area that's pretty much instance off
Mm-hmm.
via Raven portal, so it doesn't really count, right? And yeah, I don't think this solves the. I don't think it is a solvable problem, right? The fact that less people will play old content as the game moves forward. That's just
the nature, I think, of the
that's just the
world.
nature of old content versus new content. Like, of course, that's the case, right? And everybody wants to solve that problem, right? And I'm like, I don't know that you can.
And I think it's just going to be something that they are going to have to figure out if they want people to play the content, the events or the meta has to feel a bit more compelling.
Yeah. Instead, they've given us a meta on this side,
a meta on this side, and a meta on that side, and it's like
it's like I don't know that
yeah.
Like, there's no point in this being an expanded map. It might as well be a separate map, basically.
Mm-hmm.
That they haven't integrated it very well as a single map. It doesn't make much sense. Chat mentioning the light puzzles that they added in. Yeah, there's new light puzzles. I'm not into that content personally, but if you are a person who likes puzzles, boy, is this the patch for you.
Yeah,
because they added like 5 of them. All in their little instance areas.
I'm trying to think, speaking back to the point about the dual metas, when Silver Wastes, once they expanded it, you had the Riba area in the forts, and then you had the Vine Wrath area, but one meta event led into the other, and I feel like it just doesn't happen in Bjora Marches, and so that's also adding to the disconnect.
Yeah. Because Silver Waste is a good point. They added Vine Wrath after they added the merry-go-round, and those flow into each other like they work perfectly.
Yeah.
But there's the northern section of Silver Waste that you have to take a script tunnel to, and nobody goes there.
Yeah.
And then there's the underground jumping puzzle, and nobody goes there.
Mm-hmm.
But this is even more distinct than that. It's like there's 2 map-sized areas and a big wall between them, but they're the same map.
Yeah. Like today I was running around and I'd finished off episode 1 replay, and I had started episode 2, and I was like, oh look, there's a mastery point over there. Let me go grab that. And I couldn't because it was in Aesgir's legacy area.
You have to do the meta.
You've got to do the meta from the eastern side of the map in order to get to that area. And I was like, right, where are we in the meta progression? Nowhere even close. Right, okay.
Yeah, I think that meta is just on a timer. I don't think you can even push it. It just spawns periodically. Yeah.
So, if I can get that mastery point, I'll be happy. But I'm kind of expecting that.
They did add 3 new mastery points you can get in Grothmar Valley.
Got those already.
They're pretty easy. Well, 2 of them are. The 3rd one is like a pain in the ass achievement that I'm probably not going to do.
The 3rd one is up in the jumping puzzle.
No, the 2 of them are insights, and one of them is an achievement.
Oh,
and the achievement one I'm probably not going to bother with.
I probably won't bother with it either.
It's kill like 6 champions, and they spawn like very rarely.
Right, yeah, they are RNG. They spawn after the meta.
Yeah.
And it's RNG on which one spawns. So I killed 2 just by running around and doing stuff, I think, between yesterday and today. But, yeah, I'm kind of like, right, I need 4 more. Am I going to chase that? It's like...
Exactly.
It's like in Dragon's Fall that you need the bridge events to get that armor piece. Yeah, I still haven't finished that.
There's a lot of stuff like that in this new patch for the achievement meta too. Do X amount of Y type of events. That's kind of the model they're moving towards.
And that they've gated mastery points behind some of these. I'm kind of
here's the thing. I don't hate this method because it's grind, right? They're making the achievement metas a little more grindy. They used to be just go around and do a lot of weird little things. But they're they're getting progressively grindier. And the Dragonfall one was really grindy, and then this one is too. and I'm kind of it keeps me playing. I don't know. I know a lot of people don't want to do that for their playtime, but me, I like to stream Guild Wars too, right?
Yeah.
And I like to stream mindless, mind-numbing things. I don't know why, but it's I like to find something comfortable and repetitive to do for my stream, and stuff like this is perfect. So I don't know, it gives me stream content, which I appreciate. So I don't hate this, but I can understand how the layman wouldn't be into the way they're moving with the achievement metas. Especially since, like, in Season 2, the metas, right? They would have a lot of fight-based achievements, like do the fight while achieving this, right?
Yeah.
And I think higher-end players prefer those achievements. And then there's plebs like me who just want to grind mindlessly.
I feel like the rewards, too, for the metas right now, for the emotes, I'm just kind of like, I don't really care.
I don't care about the emotes. I do the achievements because you almost always have to complete them for whatever legendary they release at the end of the season. And I like making those. I like those, like Aurora and Vision, right? I like those collection-based legendaries so much more than the regular legendaries. So I that's why I do the Living World achievements, is for those.
So we've got this expanded map approach. We've got 10 new mastery levels with this new patch.
We went
a
lot
from
of mastery.
303 to 313. And of the mastery points, I think, that are out in the world that you can just get or get easily, either through insights or easy achievements. I think I counted up to about 307. So there's about...
You got to do a lot of achievements.
You got to do a lot of achievements in order to get the rest to max out.
Which I'm not against. I like the idea of the mastery rank being a little more prestigious. So I kind of like that you need to get achieved, because I'll do it, right? Like, even if I hate it, I'll do it. But so I kind of like the idea of there being some prestige attached to your mastery number.
I wonder if it's going to be a similar case. Like, there were a lot of mastery points locked behind achievements for Corteria, I think it was. We finished maxing that out. And it wasn't until they added
9 new insights
into Corteria that a lot of people maxed out their Corteria ones in order to finally get max mastery.
I didn't have max mastery before they added those.
I didn't either, because I was just like, no, screw that. And I'm wondering if they're going to end up falling into that same kind of...
That's why I'm doing it now, because trying to do Season 2 achievements in, like, 2016... Nobody wants to do that with you, right? So it's easier to... I like playing the patches currently.
Yeah.
So, and I give myself until the next patch comes out to finish everything. Like, all right, get the meta done, get the mastery points maxed out, get all the rewards from the patch. You have until the next patch to do that. And it keeps me playing for another 2.5 months, right? So I don't think it's bad design. I think a lot of people complain about it because people are lazy, right? But I don't think it's bad. And Josh in chat is saying kind of the same thing, that he likes the achievements that keep people playing the game. And I would agree, because they're doing those achievements to get those mastery points, to get their mastery rank up, because they care about how they look in the game, because they want to keep playing it, right?
Sure.
That's not all they're going to do, but it's something they're going to do that's going to contribute to how they feel about the game. So I think it's good, kind of. I know a lot of people would disagree, but I kind of think it's good.
I think if they could find a place, or a place somewhere in the middle. I don't know that they've... I think having people say, "Oh, there's only 2 hours worth of content,"
I hate it when people say that. Yeah,
is a problem. And then when you've got people saying, "Oh, it's too grindy," it's a problem. So if they could find a way, and I'm sure that they know this, that they're trying to find a happy place in between. I would hope. I'm sure it's not easy. I would like them to continue working towards that. Yeah, so we'll see. I don't know. Other things, the Raven Gates, which are in this patch, they require Mastery Rank 3. What did you think?
I mean, they're just Jackal portals, right?
Jackal portals, or the script portals, or...
But I like it when they attach mastery, that like they hard gate things behind masteries that encourages you as a player to go get the experience and get the mastery points and do the mastery, right? So I like that, and I think it's good. Have you gotten your mastery rank up? Have you been to any of the puzzle rooms yet?
Maybe. I'm at 301 or 2, something like that right now. I do have. I'm currently leveling Raven 4, tier 4.
Yeah, so you can use the Raven Gates.
Yeah, I can use the Raven Gates.
Yeah, they pretty much just lead to light puzzle rooms. That's effectively
some of them will lead you to or from one side of a mountain to another. I found as well.
Yes, yeah, it's kind of a shortcut.
Yeah.
But because I was going around getting my map comp, and there's a POI in each one of those light rooms.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I actually did one of the light puzzle rooms. It's not that hard. It's kind of tedious for if you're someone like me who doesn't like puzzle content. It's kind of like, okay.
Right.
But they're good puzzles.
I think I haven't run into the puzzle rooms because I have no memory of it, which, my memory being what it is. But 2, I've been kind of hard going after just the story, and not really letting myself get sucked into different places of the map, which is unusual for me. I got sucked into Grothmar pretty hard.
Well, it's not a map that sucks you in, really. It's a pretty bland map, Bjora Marches. It's not very interesting.
It's very interesting to look at. Like, it's a pretty environment. It's a very dark environment.
I think the first half of the map is much more interesting than the second half. The second half of the map is pretty meh.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that. I mean, it's...
The ice lake where Drakkar stays is kind of cool looking, right? It's got the mirror sheen. You can see through a lot of it. It's a new texture for ice, right? It's kind of cool. The underground cave where you could find the Sapala ruins is pretty cool.
Yes.
But overall, it just atmospherically didn't grab me like the first half did. The first half grabbed me atmospherically really hard.
Yeah.
Like the Bone Skinner Forest is really cool, right?
Yeah.
But the rest of Pure, I don't know. I was just like,
yeah. The Sapala ruin, since you mentioned it, that was like my moment of, oh my gosh, it's Sapala. And then I was like, I remember it being in a cave. I remember it being open air. And then
exactly,
I was like, I'm sure Jormek had something to do with this.
Right, yeah, like the ice has shifted in a way with the advent of Jormag's rising, right? Yeah. Totally. What I thought was interesting is that you have Sifhala, and then you can go a little bit further above Sifhala. So technically we're into Yaga Moraine a little bit, if you think about it, right? It's not totally Bjora Marches, but it doesn't matter. For people who played Guild Wars 1, Yaga Moraine was like the furthest north you can go. It's so far north, it's off the Guild Wars 2 map, I'm pretty sure. If you compare the two, I want to say.
So the new map meta is the Drakkar meta. It's on you've got 25 minutes to kill Drakkar. Have you done it?
I failed it. And
I've yet to see it because
I tweeted about this yesterday. We failed it, but I got an achievement based around beating it anyway. There's an achievement like if you get hit with less than so many of his attacks,
right? Okay,
you get it,
right?
And you'll still get this achievement whether you pass or fail the event.
Whether you've beaten him.
Yeah,
you do get an achievement for beating him as well.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. But the way the achievement is worded is like defeat Drakkar while getting hit with less than X number of his attacks, and you get it whether you defeat him or not.
That's a bug. That's kind of funny. It bugged out for you, is what Josh is saying.
It bugged out for me. I mean, I'll take the 5 AP. I don't care.
No, I have heard that he is a bit difficult. He's a bit tanky.
He has the DPS check is pretty significant for a open world event. It's a pretty hard DPS check. You're going to want maximum amount of people there, I'd say, or an optimal amount of people rather, and you want people running pretty heavy damage-based builds. That's where we failed it. The mechanics aren't hard, right? We failed it because of the DPS check.
Would you, if you were to compare it to Serpent's Ire, which before it was fixed?
Oh, Serpent's Ire is worse than this. I know they've nerfed it since, but OG Serpent's Ire is still way worse. Because Serpent's Ire was a CC gate,
yes,
not a DPS gate. Any player knows how to hit the boss, right? not every player knows that CC even exists in the
I
game.
know this.
So yeah, OG
Serpent
Serpent's Ire is still the worst meta event that's ever been implemented in the game. But this one is, you're gonna need to like grow a few brain cells if you want to be actively involved.
More than just your auto attack.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, try using some weapon skills. Try slotting some power gear. Right.
Use some of your utility skills. Do things that
slot some damage-based utility skills. You know,
bring out some boon duration.
Yeah, engage your brain ridges on this fight, guys. It's going to be important.
I have not seen it yet. Like I said, I've only heard about it from talking to people.
It's kind of interesting. It's kind of a cool fight.
Interesting fight. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got like these little pockets under the ice, and he'll like be in one, and then he'll run away, and you got to like chase him. And there's champions in another room. You got to go through Raven Gates. It's kind of cool.
Which is similar to the what was it in Silver Waste? I'm feeling a lot of Silver Waste echoes here. When you drop in to do the bosses underground.
Yeah, the labyrinth maze. It's a little different because you're teleporting through the Raven portals. You're like, and then you're in another room, and there's a champion you have to kill, and then you're back in the room with Drakkar. And that phases a few times throughout it. And there's achievements for each of the champions you get. I think the champions are RNG, if I remember correctly. So that's fun, right? More grind.
More so. I feel a lot of echoes here.
I did see people complaining on Twitter a lot. They thought that Drakkar looks kind of derpy. He's got kind of this long plague doctor. He's got a plague doctor nose. He's very plague doctor looking if you look at him. I think he looks kind of creepy. I kind of like him, but yeah, some people don't like the way he looks.
This is the same derpy model from the instance.
Yes.
At the end. Yeah, except for when you get the crate looking hybrid Toxos whatever guy.
And Inks is asking about the rewards. For the meta, I'm not entirely sure because I haven't beaten it.
And greens and some chests.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure, but I imagine there's probably some rare RNG that you can get from it. Probably another infusion that's never going to drop. Right? I don't know for sure on that. But yeah, I'd have to actually beat it to find out.
And Amala says that it's a bit like the Vine Wrath because if you do one champ, you get a buff that won't let you in for the next champ.
Oh, interesting. Okay. All right.
That's kind of cool. That makes it interesting. I like fights like that shake things up a bit. Or just, like press F and just go.
Josh talking about using the bobblehead station for Drakkar. Yeah, he already has a massive head, so I imagine bobblehead Drakkar would be incredible. A destroyer of weak GPUs, to be sure.
I'm going through your patch notes, your show notes here.
I get a little wordy with the patch notes.
That's all right. I'm just noticing that we didn't talk about story here at all.
I know. I figured since we started launching right into the map, we'd cover everything not story and then do the story after.
Okay. That works. Yeah. I don't mind.
Yeah, just swap the order a little bit. Yeah, right.
Shifting things around. Rewards for this patch, we've got a new tier of boreal weapons, the illuminated ones.
Have you made any of the tiers of these? If you want the end of season legendary, you're probably going to need to make at least 6. Yeah, I'm. So the way they came out with these, are you aware of the controversy around how they came out with these?
Yes, because you needed to have the one from tier 2 in order to make tier 3, and people lost their minds. I saw that.
Yeah. Here's the thing. There's a reason that this is stupid the way they did this, because for the tier 1 to tier 2, you don't need the tier 1 to make the tier 2 one. You make the tier 1 weapon, which unlocks a recipe for the tier 2 weapon at the next vendor. That guarantees that you have to make the tier 1, but you don't have to keep it to make the tier 2, right? I think that is a much better system.
You can also buy the tier 2s off the trading post.
You can, but...
Which I found amusing.
Yeah, I just... It was so unnecessary. It was such an unnecessary way to implement it because, of course, we didn't know tier 3 was coming, right?
Right.
So, of course, at the end of when we make all the, because I made all of them, right? So, of course, at the end of making these, we're just like, all right, I'll salvage them or I'll sell them or whatever, right? And then they made you need them, and they didn't implement a way to get them back. And I just thought that was such a massive oversight by ArenaNet. it screwed over people who'd made them originally so much. They have since implemented a vendor that you can get them back.
That you can get them back from.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that they did that. It would have, as many people said, it's just, why didn't you tell us that a tier 3 was coming?
Yeah.
We wouldn't have just salvaged them.
Well, and even if a tier 3 is coming, since they set the precedent with the tier 1 to 2 of not needing the old one,
right?
I would have salvaged them anyway, because I would have assumed that's the way it was going to work for the tier 3. Like, they've just completely... Inks was an oversight? Yeah, probably. It was probably an oversight.
Yeah, and
because I doubt whoever's in charge of making crafting recipes, right, like, needs to worry about that type of thing.
Well, and Amala points out, if you salvage them, you get back some of those ingots.
Yeah, exactly. And you are encouraged to salvage them again because you get ingots back.
I mean, it's like...
Yeah. That's that's something that slipped through QA, because that's something a QA person should notice, is like, oh, this works this way and it should maybe work a different way, right? I'm not saying the QA is bad. I'm just saying it slipped through the cracks. It's not a huge deal, because if you put in a support ticket and asked for your weapons back,
right,
they got mine back. They got mine to me in 8 hours.
Yeah.
So they
put
covered
the vendor
that
back in, so the vendor now gives them back. So that's helpful.
Yeah, so they fixed it. They fixed it within launch week, so it's fine. It was just, I was like, why?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure it was just an oversight. It's not really a big deal.
Yeah, and Inks' point that QA may have noticed it, but they might not have listened.
That's true, and I've heard
as well.
I've heard that from multiple sources, from about multiple companies in general, that sometimes people don't listen to all the QA feedback, right? So yeah, it slipped through. It slipped through. It's unfortunate, but there you are. I wasn't impressed with a lot of the other, like, the generic rewards for this patch. The ones that, like, the vendor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of lame minis. The minis are kind of lame. Mini Cloud Seeker.
I think it's just more of the same is what it is. It's the Karmic Retribution, the minis, some Guild Hall decorations. You've got the Raven Armor set, which has been an NPC set that's been in game since launch that people have asked for, and they finally gave it to us.
People like the Raven Armor because it looks sexy on Asura. They like having sexy Asura armor, because Asura don't get a lot of skin showing armor.
What was the one that got data mined? It's a hodgepodge of a couple of different armor sets that are already in the game. We've got on Asura, the Asura get the underboob from Human Cultural Tier 3.
Oh God!
No. The human version is the top is from Masquerade Light Armor, and the
wait. So they just when was this data mined?
This week with this patch.
So they're just giving cultural armor to other races?
It's very odd, isn't it?
That sucks.
It's weird.
Is it going to be on the Gemstore?
I'm not entirely sure. I think it might be. I'm not sure if it's coming in as an outfit.
Well, because here's the thing. Do you remember when they put cultural armor on the Gemstore?
Yes, I do. And I remember when people lost their minds. And I'm wondering if that will happen, or if people... See, the thing that I'm
That underboob armor is tier 3 armor.
Yes, it is. I know. I have it on my Ranger.
It's one of the few significant gold sinks in the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they've split that one so that, like, the Asura model, Asura female, gets the top, and then the human / Norn / Sylvari get the bottom part of it.
I'm so disturbed by an Asura wearing the underboob armor.
It's very weird. Yeah, it's totally underboob. When I saw it, I saw a screenshot of it, and I was like,
I don't want it.
That's the underboob armor. They even gave the Asura little underboob.
I don't like that. I don't want it.
So yeah, no, it's just very peculiar.
Yeah, I did not know about that. That's super disturbing.
Yeah.
ArenaNet, why?
I don't know. So I think that's coming in a week or so as an outfit that will be in the Gemstore. I think it might be Javi's outfit.
That's going to be a good meme. I'm past caring about the Gemstore too much. I haven't been as mad about it lately. Like when they come out with stuff for it, I'm just I mean, we'll have a Gemstore section where we can go into it more in detail. But that does sound like a fun meme.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then the new strike is out.
Yeah.
With Bjora Mag, which I hear is quite hard.
I think that's a good. I think that's
I
a good
think is
direction.
good.
Yeah, because they have easy strikes, right? We have 3 easy strikes that you can pug successfully, right? And then Bone Skinner's tough, and then this one I think is around the same difficulty, if maybe even a little tougher than
Mhm.
Bone Skinner. I think that's because we have progression now on our strikes, right? The first one is really easy, and then the Kodan brothers is a little harder. Freyner is a little harder than that, and then you've
Mhm.
got Bone Skinner and Whisper of Jormag, which are proper raid level encounters, right? I think that completely kind of flips a lot of people's opinions of strike missions because a lot of people were like, "Oh, these are too easy," you know.
Right, and the hope that I've had is that they would get progressively more difficult
Hmm.
if they were going to be using it as a springboard into Endgame
I think it's much more viable as a ramp up
as
to
a ramp up.
raids as it is now. Yeah, I mean they're basically Bone Skinner and Whisper are basically raid encounters. They just don't have raid encounters have a lot more phases, I
Mm-hmm.
think, whereas strike missions have a lot more just heavy mechanics. They're like 10-man fractal bosses, kind of. Because fractal bosses have just like a lot of pressure mechanics that they
Yeah.
shoot out all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Raid bosses are more about phases. And strike missions are kind of a hybrid where they take the fractal formula and put it into a 10-man fight and kind of crank up the crank it up a little bit. It's
Yeah.
kind of cool. It's kind of cool. Strike missions are kind of exciting now.
Yeah. Good.
I hated on them when they came out. I was like, it's really easy. That's
Well, I mean,
stupid.
the first one is super, super easy.
The first one is
I mean,
like
especially if you've done some harder content.
barely gameplay.
Yeah, it was
It's
like
like Mersat Overseer level.
Mersat. Mersat, and we still kill people. But yeah. Yeah, no, I'm glad to see that I'm hearing from a couple of raid cell teams that are like, we're gonna put the strike mission on our rotation of cells, and I'm like,
Because there's an
that
achievement for every strike mission. Yeah,
right,
I
yeah,
want
no, but I mean,
to.
like, just even that cell teams are considering putting it on their rotation of things that they sell because it's harder content.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. And I have I have my Bone Skinner achievement because I did the easy mode one when it first came out.
right.
But I'm thinking of like I'd like to actually learn how to do strike like the new one, right? Like that might be fun.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I just need to, you know,
Josh is having a
have a care, I
meltdown
think,
in
right
chat
now.
right now, claiming he was right about strike missions. I guess you were, dude.
He has been championing strikes. Josh has been a daily strike mission guy since they launched.
Yeah, I was doing them every day for a while. I just they scaled back the RNG on the drops, and you don't really get that anymore. So it became not worth it to do every day. But I believe this patch they added new RNG rewards to some of the Bjora strikes.
You know,
I don't know.
RNG
I
is
don't
kind
think
of
they
a
were
thing.
always there. But if you look on the wiki, there are real RNG high value rewards
As long as you can't buy them on the trading
Freyner,
post, even better.
yeah, to Freyner and Kodan Bros. I don't know if they added anything to Bone Skinner. And then there's some nice RNG drops you can get with Whisper too. So strike missions are starting to shape up as like if you have a group that can do a strike full clear every day, that could end up being lucrative some days if you get lucky with drops. Strike missions are shaping up really nice as the season goes forward. I really like it.
Yeah, I'm thinking from what I'm hearing, especially about this newer strike, that if they cannot be pugged, that if you go in with a pre-made group, do it.
That's what we were talking about in my Discord earlier today. Josh in the chat was telling me that people are running 4 healers on the new strike, and I was just like, why? And he's like, so that you can just heal through all the damage mechanics. And I was like, just learn the fight. Like, is that really that bad? And apparently it's pretty hard. Apparently it's like pretty tough, but like you'd think that rather than take 4 healers and take the full 10 minutes to kill the boss, you would just want to learn how to do the
Go in
fight.
with a comp, yeah.
Yeah, it's
With an actual
crazy.
comp. Yeah. Well, we'll see how that goes, and if that lasts, that it will not be unpuggable.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, it looks good. I wouldn't mind learning how to do it.
Cool. Yeah, I want to check them out and start. My goal had been to try and work strikes into some raid prep, as a warm up or a cooldown
Mhm.
for some grade groups, and I kind of got away from it. It didn't happen. I
Yeah.
lost interest in raiding, took a break, came back, and now I'm kind of feeling, yeah, all right.
Well, and
I'm still
I
feeling
would
a bit
point out,
jaded.
yeah, I would point out what Josh said earlier in the chat is that you stopped doing them daily
Mm-hmm.
because the LFG for strikes is pretty dead. And that's a big part of why I stopped doing them too. If you don't do them at reset, at the
Yeah.
hour of reset, it's going to take a long time to get a group. So I hope with the implemented rewards, like the implemented RNG drops, that the LFG will kind of ramp up, because I wouldn't mind doing daily strikes again. It's a nice daily thing to do.
Other things. You've got Balance Patch next, but I think we actually should talk about the story.
Yeah. Let's get into the story.
Get into the story. So, the story takes us into...
Spoilers, guys. Spoilers.
This is the spoiler part. If you haven't played the story, you might want to turn away now.
Yep.
So this new part of Bjora Marches, The Shadow and the Ice, is the continuing saga of what's happening with Bangar, what's happening with the Icebrood, and our cadre of heroes. We go in, we start off the story, and we get a message from Javi, and Bram's missing.
Yeah.
He's gone off, and you're thinking, great, here goes Bram going half-cocked.
Bram pulled a Bram.
Bram pulled a Bram. He's going off because he's chasing down Ritlock and Krisha because they've disappeared. They haven't made contact in a while.
Mm-hmm. And so we go after him, and they're like, "Oh, you got to go to the other half of the map." And I'm like,
"Right,
I know."
But the breadcrumb trail to find Bram is actually following visions of Wolf,
Mm-hmm.
the Wolf spirit, which take you into an instance where you find Garm. We haven't seen Garm since the party celebrating Air, I think's life.
Well, I mean, Garm has been with Bram since then, hasn't he?
Ostensibly, but we haven't seen him around. He hasn't been palling around with us whenever
he's
Bram's
been there
around.
I think he's been there in a few instances, but he is not consistently with Bram in instances.
Which you'd think, if he's, following Bram around, that we'd see Garm around.
So he's back.
So Garm is back, and Garm is leading us to Bram, and we're not. And even Bram was like, "How did you find me?" And it's like, he's a wolf.
Mm-hmm.
This is what they do.
Yeah.
You go in, you find Bram, and Bram has tried to make contact with the Kodan.
Yeah.
Why? Because Krisha and Ritlock are being held captive by the Kodan.
Dude, Ritlock, all the amazing, legendary things Ritlock Brimstone has done, and he's been taken prisoner by the Kodan.
Yeah.
This random Kodan village.
Right. They didn't want to, what was it that Krisha said? They didn't want to kill any of the Kodan because they were trying to show that they were allies.
You'd think they'd be able to, get away, though,
You'd think.
Yeah.
You'd think.
I can understand not wanting to kill, you shouldn't just go around butchering Kodan, right? But you'd think that they could be a little more ingenuitive than just, I guess we'll just get captured. Hopefully the commander will find us.
Which we do.
Mm-hmm.
So we find him, and we have to go and talk to the Kodan leader, whose name escapes me at the moment. Why can't I remember this dude's name?
Cloudseeker?
Cloudseeker, that's his name.
Yeah.
Because the little village has three words.
I don't remember what the name of the village is. But in my Discord on the patch day, we were all remarking on how much of a beefy daddy Cloudseeker.
Cloudseeker is pretty OP.
He is a big boy.
He's a dude.
Yeah, he's quite the.
Isn't it Shining Still Waters the name of the village or something like that?
Is it? They're all stuff like that. Yeah, but yeah, Cloudseeker. He's quite the imposing figure.
He is.
He's 9 feet tall.
He impresses Bram by making fire spirits just show up by going whoosh.
Yeah, all the stuff's Bram's seen, right? Like, he's been killing elder dragons, he's been off letting, like, Aurene visions, but he's like, oh, wow, the fire. Ooh, it's moving. Ooh, oh, boy.
Oh, Bram sometimes is still a teenager, and he gets impressed with little things, so that's okay.
Bram's brain is still developing.
So they do that, and the Kodan tells us that the Kodan villagers are weak. That the whispers from Jormag are pretty intense, and kind of like psychologically defeating them.
Yeah.
And the running phrase is, his voice is not his own.
Mm-hmm.
Be careful that your voice is still your own.
Yeah.
And he, after we free them out of the prison, Ritlock's character in this episode to me felt really odd.
He's well, I don't think it's necessarily bad though, because I think he's getting more and more weird as he continues to worry about Ryland more and more.
Yeah.
So I think he's supposed to be getting a little more shaken and off-putting as he continues to not be able to locate Ryland. I think that's kind of the point.
Yeah. And
I also think Krisha grates on him.
She's...
Yeah, I think him being with her and then butting heads all the time affects his personality. So I think he's supposed to be like kind of on edge and out of whack. Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's probably the development of what we saw in the story after Aurene dies. We had those stories that came out. We had the weird Ritlock.
Yeah.
Where he starts talking about how the commander and Kaith became maternal figures to Aurene, and at the end of it, you learn that he has children, and he's starting to think about what is the impact on my children. I haven't been there for them, so that kind of like absent father guilt, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like they're trying to play that up more and more.
And Inks has a point in the chat that he says Ain't has this problem where they write Norn and Char like they would write a human instead of putting more cultural emphasis on the Norn and Char. I think he does have a point, because Char culturally don't really care about their children.
No. They leave them off with the Farrar and that's it.
Yeah, you kind of like your family, like parents they don't really hold any sway in Char culture.
Right.
So it is kind of weird. But the reason I'll give this one to Aina is because Ritlock isn't your typical, he's a very atypical Char, right? He goes off and does his own thing. He doesn't do the whole Legion thing, right? Mm-hmm. And there are different, like there are outliers in every culture, right? So I'm willing to give him that Rylock is like Ritlock into his kid, but at the same time, kind of not, because Ritlock's kind of fucked off for his kid's whole life, and now he shows up back and he's like, I'm your dad.
Right. And
probably just like yeah, okay. I don't know you.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? Yeah. It's just like, yeah, it's kind of weird. All of a sudden he cares so much, but it's like, you didn't really keep up before though, did you?
Yeah, and Krisha does note that the parents are still involved. There's a Primus at the Farrar, which is in the first episode that you go and talk to when you're disguised as Ryland, that says, more parents come around just to check on their cubs.
Yeah, just be like, hey, you're
right,
cool,
just to
right?
kind of keep an eye on him or whatever, but then just kind of go off and do their thing again with their warband. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Retro Raven in the chat makes the point that they aren't completely uninvolved.
No.
But Ritlock's a little like off the deep end on this one, as far as Char go, is all I'm saying. They are still a little bit involved. Yeah.
So Ritlock just wants to go and chase after Bangar and get his kid back, because Bangar taunted him that I was a father to your cub. And he hates Bangar. But yeah, it's like he kind of is very single-minded in wanting to just tunnel vision in on that aspect of the mission, rather than the big picture, which is usually what the commander and company tend to do. They generally handle the big picture stuff.
Yeah, and I know that this is like a PMA game and the redemption arc for Ryland is coming, right? But I would almost like, it would be a good twist if they were just like, no, he's messed up and you have to kill him in front of Ritlock. Like, that would be a lot crazier, but I don't think we'll do that. I think the redemption arc is on its way.
The point that Cloudseeker makes at the end of the first instance, that he's preoccupied and Jormag is playing on that, is something that I'm wondering if that's going to come back to be a factor. Obviously it was at the end of this episode, but I wonder if it will be a continuing thing and Ritlock will continue to be basically prey to Jormag because he is so preoccupied.
That'd be cool if that'd be kind of cool if Ritlock died, because I'm not a huge fan of Ritlock.
No, I know you kind of hate him.
I don't hate him. I'm just like, every time he's in the story, I'm just like, all right. So like, and he's kind of a tired old veteran of the story, right? It's kind of, is it just me or is it time for Ritlock to go?
He's the only one who's still around, really. Logan is off doing his Pact Marshal thing. Zoj is off recovering from PTSD.
I think Zoj is a vegetable. Let's be honest. I think Zoj is dead.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I think it might be Ritlock's turn. Yeah.
Well,
and it's common. I bet Ritlock dies to save Ryland, right? I bet in the final.
I mean, it's such a trope.
Yeah, it is a total trope, and I feel like it's leading up to it. Because he wants to redeem himself in Ryland's eyes, right? And the ultimate act of redemption will be to sacrifice himself to save him.
I think they need, if that were to happen, they would have to have some sort of some kind of connection where the two of them spend some time together. Kind of like and here's where I think it would be just kind of like a recycle or a rehash of what they did with Bram and Air, is that they had some initial bonding that we saw glimpses of as the player character, and then apparently more took place off camera. So by the time that she's captured in Heart of Thorns and then dies in front of Bram's eyes, it's obviously impactful. And I think that if they were to kill him off, like say in the next episode, or we haven't had that sort of like exposition.
I don't think he'd die until like the second to last episode.
Yeah,
I don't think he'd die in the finale, but I think in the second to last episode he might die.
We'd have to have some kind of lead in order for it to feel meaningful.
Yeah. Ink was saying that Ritlock was going to die at the beginning of the season. I've definitely just been getting the feeling that I'm like, what are you still doing here, buddy? Like, just like move on or something like that. He's like the old man hanging with the kids right now. Ritlock's doing the like, hello, fellow kids, It's like, dude, it's over, man. Yeah.
So at the end of this one, we go to Stillwater Speaking. That's the village, right? Cleansing the burial sites, going off and basically helping. This is the go into the map and help the people out.
Yes, everyone's favorite. It's not nearly as bad as it was in Groth.
No.
I got it done pretty quick.
Yeah, this one goes a lot quicker.
Yeah, but it's still
progress bar.
It's still not the most engaging part of the story. It encourages you to explore, but only explore until you're done.
Yeah.
Right. I would rather be able.
Yeah.
I would rather be able to directly do quests until the story is done and then explore at my own leisure. I prefer it that way. So I don't like this, like, go out into the map, but not too much, So, yeah. I'm like, I want to do the story and then I want to explore and I don't want them to match together.
Yeah.
So that's probably just a weird pet peeve of mine. It's not a bad section of the story. It's just, it doesn't engage me in any way, really. There is dialogue, though. Like, you get calls from... They abuse the hell out of this new cell phone technology.
Yeah, they really do.
Yeah, we get phone calls from Ritlock and Krisha.
And apparently they're constantly all monitoring each other. Yeah, you get to hear Krisha and Ritlock just kind of bickering and bantering and.
I think we've had the basically couples fighting, right?
Yeah, it's just like
We get to
we
hear
can't
the
see
divorce
Kaz
court
and Jory.
proceedings.
We can't see Kaz and Jory fighting. That happens usually off screen. We usually see the lovey-doveyness of them when they're together.
People get like fans of the game get like uncomfortable if Cass and Jory fight. They don't like it. That's the thing. Like big fans, they don't like seeing their favorite couple fight.
Okay.
Nobody cares about Ritlock and Krisha. So.
I mean, Ritlock and Krisha, this is their thing. This is their shtick right now.
Yeah.
The next part is the Lost Spirits Found step, and this is when you gotta go and help Bram become the wolf. Right. This is at the end of the previous one. You went out and you met up with the wolf spirit who tells Bram that he's got wolf within him, but he cannot become the wolf. He's the chosen one, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And so you've got to go out and recruit the help of Wolverine, Eagle, and Ox, who are the lost spirits.
What did you think of recruiting the help of Wolverine?
I didn't care for it. Let's just put it that way. The mechanics are
I think I developed an ulcer while doing
yes. Yeah, it was and ironically, it was the ones that I did last. So I had already done Eagle, dealt with the mechanics there. I was like, all right, this is not bad. Going against the wind to get into the shrine, I can deal with that. Go with Ox, you turn into an Ox to take salt blocks over to the shrine, all right, and then run into the reused Broken King mechanic where you're standing into green circles to let the ice ball fall. That's straight out of Wings.
You don't even have to actively do that. You can just bring the ball.
I know, but I mean, it's there. And I was just like...
Yeah. It's there for no reason.
I looked around and I was like, is there a boss that they're coming out? No? Oh, all right. It's just
there for funsies. Yeah.
Okay.
You do have to do it during the Drakkar fight, so I think it's trying to introduce you so that when you see that, you know what to do. But for the purposes of the event, it doesn't do anything.
Yeah, it gives you an achievement if you do it a couple of, I forget how many times, 15, 20.
It's there for the sake of an achievement.
Yeah, and to teach you for, like you said, for Drakkar, great. But the Wolverine one, the bone skinners that are hovering around that you can't fight, they just insta kick you out. You've got bouncing mushrooms that are by the shrine that you can get out with, but you can't get into with. You've got to use that weird stealth mechanic. The bone skinners move super slow.
That's basically my biggest beef. I have two
because the path to get into the shrine is not difficult.
Yeah, it's not. But the bone skinners move so slow. They move so slow.
Yeah,
and the hitbox on the toxic spores, the hitbox on them is wider than is on screen. If you walk too close to it but don't get into it, you'll
hitboxes in this game? No.
Yeah, they have pretty janky hitboxes that are actually wider than they appear, so that'll fail you a lot.
Yeah.
If you try to make like a skillful evade, you'll still get screwed over. So yeah, the Wolverine Shrine is really fun. I'm still going to play through it on all 9 characters. Yeah, because I'm a lunatic. But yeah,
well, you know what it is that you do it back to back to back to back to back.
I do. I get it all done.
You get it all done, which is probably a better way to do it, even though you're like hating life whenever you
don't want to slow burn that. You want to get it out of the way.
Yeah. I probably won't play them back. I know I won't play them back to back. I'll kind of go in whenever I'm feeling like I need something to do. Let's go play some story. So yeah. So no, the Wolverine one was cancerous. I hated it.
Yeah, I hated it.
And more so because I knew the path and that the path was not difficult to get to, and that it was artificially made more difficult by just this. So, but yeah, so you get through it. The spirits do lend their power to Bram, even though they taunt him.
Yeah, I thought
corrupted.
Like, I think the point of these dialogue sequences, I get the point of them. But they are structured in such a way that they're just like, Bram asks them for their help, and they're just like, "You're a piece of shit."
Pretty
You're
much.
a piece of shit.
Yeah,
You're
you're a
a
coward, you're a
okay, you
this,
got
you're
my
a
help.
good enough, yeah. All right, we'll help
Like,
you.
there's no transitional period of him
No,
convincing them. They're just go from
no.
you're a piece of shit to okay, I'll help you.
Yeah, which I thought felt quite strange. Like you'd think that if
Yeah,
Bram is like coming into his own, which is what they're trying to push,
yeah.
that if he is the chosen one, that he would be able to persuade them somehow.
Well, and I guess these spirits are just trolling him. Like,
Yeah.
it makes it sound like they're trolling him. It's really funny. I don't think it's supposed to sound like that though, but it does. I don't know if they like didn't get their point across well with the dialogue, or if it's actually supposed to sound like these spirits are just trolling Bram. But it made me laugh. I don't like the whole like you're the chosen one arc. I hate that. It's a bad trope. We need to stop using it. But I'm not so invested in the story in this game to where I'm like, wow, they ruined it, right? It's another trope.
Yeah, it's just yeah. So okay, so the spirits they gave him their power after trolling him or whatever, and so we go in, and the next one is the hunt begins. That's the next, and we've got to check in with Ritluck and Krisha, go back to the village, and we've got to weaken Drakkar. So now this is the part where we're like, right, every dragon or dragon's champion or minion has a weak spot, right? We know this now. So what are we gonna do, friends, to weaken Drakkar?
Basically, we're just like, all right, we have a formula down for that. Let's follow it.
But I mean,
and they basically come out and say that like there's no compelling like I don't know.
The thing
felt very canned, I guess.
So you can weaken Drakkar by destroy. So this is where you can get into the meta, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can go with Javi and to go straight after Drakkar, or you can go around the map and press F on the idols of Jormag to weaken his power.
Of course, the meta wasn't going on for me, so I pressed F.
That's what I did as well, because the meta wasn't going on for me. The meta literally started when I was hitting the last F, and I was like, right,
yeah,
okay, I'm going to continue on. So I think if they'd found a more seamless way to work that into the meta, that would have been cooler. The press F option, which I get, is probably for people who want to just, well, the meta's not going on, like what happened to us.
Yeah.
Let's just continue on instead of being gated back.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't feel like I think it was more the scavenger hunt aspect that the idols could move locations.
I think it's kind of a good idea the way they did it, because normally they would have it just be, okay, go press F on idols, right? But I think this way is their way of trying to maybe get a player who might not have otherwise interacted with the meta to go do it. Because if you have a quest marker pointing to it, you might go do that, and it might get somebody into it who otherwise wouldn't have found it. But what you pointed out was the issue I had with it, which is how they just... There's no subtlety. There's no subtlety to how they inserted this into the story. They're just like, this is the part where you do this. It reminded me of, in Shrek, where he's like, this is the part where you run away, right?
This is the part where you run away, yes.
It was that level of formulaic. They were just like, all right, it's that part of the episode.
Yeah, I mean, and they added some exploration to it, in that the idols could change locations. Your circles would move.
Yeah.
Which
the idols are plentiful enough to where I don't think that was a huge deal.
There were some on the eastern part of the map where the circle was drawn on the map, and I was like, right, okay, I found one. My circle is still here. Have I found them all?
There can be a couple in the circle, yeah.
Yeah, and because I'd found like several. And then, the circle was still there, and I'm like, did I miss
when I
one?
couldn't find any more in the circle, I would just go to another circle.
Yeah, that's what I was doing as well, but I still kept circling back, like, I want to make sure that I didn't miss any.
Yeah.
So you've done this, and then you get a message from Ritluck and Krisha. We've got to meet up. We've got a plan. Let's go. Let's get going. And we go. We go into the final instance. Mm-hmm. The voice in the deep, and this is where we're going after.
There's a lot of canonically, I guess the public fight with Drakkar happens before the story fight. That's fine. Like you do that to weaken him, and then you're like, it actually kind of syncs up pretty well.
It's not like they haven't done that before.
Yeah, because in Dragonfall, the fight with Kralkatorrik is happening.
Dragonfall,
and then
the
Heart of
Stand,
Thorns.
Heart of Thorn.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's fine. It's just, I think this was they've been doing shorter story episodes because they're on a shorter release cadence. So it makes sense that the story episodes are shorter.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily have a huge problem with that. It's just, I felt like a lot of the gameplay is kind of
the instance
lost, I guess, when they do the episodes that way.
Yeah. I think where the open world gameplay might feel a bit more compelling in some of the bigger events this time around. The instance gameplay felt quite undertuned. Like super face roll easy.
And that's what we were kind of talking about before this is, I think they just need to take trash encounters out of instant story instances because they don't matter. Right? Have story instance fights just be boss fights. Because it's a little more streamlined that way, I guess. I don't know. I just feel like when I'm going down the hallway in a story and it's like, there's some Icebrood, I'm just like, of course there is. You kill them in 2 seconds and then you keep going. It's not a big deal, but yeah.
But, so when you're going in to hunt for Drakar, you're going into the cave. This is the cave from the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Where you got to see him as the shadow in the ice swimming around you.
Which is kind of a cool effect.
It is a cool effect. Yeah. And before you get to fight Drakar, you have to take care of some Icebrood ambushes, which are pretty easy to deal with. You're with Krisha and Ritlock. Just those two.
Mm-hmm. I know. I wish we could have a few more characters along for these big. But this, I will say, what this episode did really well is it pointed out that this is like a side trip to the main story. This is very much like we're going to go do this really quick. So it kind of makes sense that all the characters aren't there.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely feel like from the ensemble cast we had in like season 2 and 3. They've really moved specific characters to the front and taken other characters to the back.
Yeah.
Like Ritlock and Bram are way bigger main characters than anyone else. Mm-hmm. And in season 3 and 4, it was Timey that was at the front all the time, right? And they've just axed Timey.
We haven't heard a peep about Timey.
Nothing.
We had Goric in the prologue, which I thought, oh, please don't let Goric become another Tiny.
And they axed Goric, too.
No, he's not around either, yeah.
I haven't heard a peep from him either.
No.
But gotta have your Bram, gotta have your Ritlock, 2 characters that I'm not super big on.
I know.
So, yeah.
We need the Norn and Char, because this is the Norn and Char story, I guess.
Yeah. No, I get why they're doing that. That's fine. That makes sense with the story. It does. I'm not saying that the story's bad. I'm just saying I'm personally not as invested in it this season because of the character focus.
Yeah. And the one thing that I appreciated about this encounter is that because we've got Ritlock and Krisha around, and because I think they're both equally worried about their son. Krisha is probably a little bit more quiet about it, and Ritlock is obviously being a lot more loud about it.
Yeah, Ritlock is a lout.
Yeah, this is the instance, this is the story step where their fears got completely turned against them. You had to fight them while Bram is like trying to hold off Drakar because the other two are losing their minds and they turn on you.
So now I do like that though, because now canonically the commander has kicked Ritlock's ass.
Yes.
And I'm like, thank you. As long as I know that I'm better, I'm happy.
Right. And they had some interesting mechanics where they worked together to channel and melt the ice using Sohathin and Krisha's elemental magic, fire magic.
It's also kind of a cool effect.
Yeah. And using the commander as bait to go around and go over to this star, go over to that star. So, that was all right. What did you think of once we've gotten Drakar out of the dragon form and he turns into
the Whisper of Jormungand?
The Whisper of Jormag.
First of all, the fight with Drakkar where there is no fight with Drakkar where he's in dragon form.
Yeah.
But the Drakkar fight is supposed to be an open world thing, so that's
Right.
okay. Like, having finally played the meta, it makes a little more sense that they do that.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to experience Drakkar, you do so in the open world meta.
Right.
The Whisper of Jormag, it has a lot of mechanics, but the health is so undertuned to the boss that I just burned it down.
Yeah.
Before it could do anything, really. And I get that it's also in a strike mission, so if you want to experience the Whisper of Jormag properly, you go do the strike mission, right? Maybe they're trying to like tantalize you with the story, and you're like, oh, I want to play the real fight, so then you go do the strike, right?
Yeah.
If you're not going to do the strike, it's kind of just it's over.
And I'm glad that they have those other instances where you can get more engaging gameplay out of this boss.
I like that strike missions are kind of non-canonical, just for funsies, like hard mode versions of monsters that exist in the world. I like that. I think that's cool.
The thing that popped into my head immediately was, wait a minute, that model is from the Tower of Nightmares, or the Nightmare Fractal. He's looking very cratey.
Well, I was wondering.
And then it was like, please God, not another Stay Puft Marshmallow Man Mordremoth thing going on here.
Yeah, which it's not quite that, but that guy looked terrible.
Yes.
But one thing I did notice about this model, I don't know if you noticed this model has a very long segment of dialogue.
Yeah.
And it's doing this the whole time.
It is doing this the whole time.
It will not stop. And it's very aggressively just shaking its hips at you.
It is, and I was just like, it's very snaky. It's very snaky, yeah. Which I suppose
like when a snake stops slithering, it's not doing that anymore. And it's just doing its walk animation, but in place the whole time. It's talking to you, and it made it very difficult to concentrate on the dialogue.
Yeah, it was amusing. But then we get the excuse me, while we are dealing with the Whisper of Jormag, we get another doppelganger.
Mm-hmm. How long did it take you to kill this thing? Like 8 seconds.
Pretty much. It was pretty quick.
The achievement is kill your doppelganger in under 1 minute.
Yeah, I think I got it in one. I got it the first try.
Yeah, and I was like, that took about 10 seconds.
Yeah. I mean, I went in on Power Soul Beast, which I am not the greatest Power Soul Beast. My strength is more Condi Soul Beast, but I was just like, whatever, let's go in and do this.
2, Great Sword 252. It's done.
It was done. It was done. It was literally like, okay, all right.
Yeah. I went in on Dragon Hunter, so it was just like.
Well, the thing that is making me like, what are they doing here that they keep bringing in this doppelganger thing? And is it just that they're either running out of time recycling old ideas, or, which I'm hoping for is the more interesting thing, that they're trying to lead us up to something? Because this is not the first
fighting our demons, our inner demons.
There's that. But it's not the first time that we've had this whole doppelganger thing that we've had to fight.
Episode 6 of season 3, the Shining Blade Trials.
The Shining Blade Trials. They showed up in the Path of Fire when the commander died. That you've got to fight instances of people imitating you or spirits imitating you. It just makes me. It made me wonder yet again about Ascension. Which we saw which we know happened in Guild Wars 1. Is Ascension ever going to come back? I don't know the answer.
I don't think so. I think the only progression in that stuff, because Ascension in Guild Wars 1 gave you like actual power, right? Yeah. I think the only progression we're going to see in that vein in Guild Wars 2 is Agony and Fractals. I think that's it. Yeah, I don't think we're going to be getting... Well, because Ascension is like a human thing with human gods, so I don't think you're going to be seeing it for players, pretty much.
And yet, here we are. But yeah.
I mean, doppelgangers can be, as a concept, can be implemented for many things, though.
Sure, I know. I'm not saying... absolutely.
Yeah.
Again, it's one of those seeds that was planted that made me sit there and go, what are you... Is there a greater purpose to this that we're going to find out about down the road?
Well, yeah, and chat has pointed out that you do essentially do the Ascension ritual in the meta event in the Elon Riverlands. Mm-hmm. So they kind of already have brought it back. Right. I think that's the most you're going to get out of it. for Guild Wars 2.
It's just an odd thing that
Yeah.
we keep seeing. We keep running into it. So, so at the end of this, right, we kill the Whisper.
Yes.
Actually, no, we don't.
Well, we defeat
the Whisper.
Yeah.
We get him down to like, I don't know, 7% or something like that. And then who shows up?
But Bangar and Ryland.
Sporting Bram's bow.
Yeah.
And Bangar goes off on a long speech about how he's going to take credit for the kill.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's going to be the champion of Jormag. And then Jormag's going to have to listen to him. And I'm like...
Yeah. And I'm like, first of all, that's not how that works.
Which is exactly what your character says, right? That's not how it works. And I'm just like, how small-brained are you, little
Yeah. I would just like, yeah. And then he takes a sucker shot at the commander. Which...
I thought, I literally, like, it, you know, and they did they're doing a lot of this whole take control of your camera thing. Mm-hmm. So that you can't actually, like, move.
You watch a weird over-your-shoulder cutscene.
I know. Yeah. And so they did that, and then, you know, you're watching this, and then you've got, here comes Bangar shooting at you, and he shoots you. And I'm like, but there's dodging in this game. Why wouldn't we have dodged? Granted, we just came out of this whole doppelganger thing, and we were a little bit screwed up in the head, but we literally were just able to just jump back into the fight against the Whisperer.
That's what I'm saying. I hate it when the game does this. They did it when you're fighting Balthazar and POF. You
Mm-hmm.
die, right? And I'm like, I was nailing that fight,
yes!
But I died? Right. I don't die. My character does not die, right? And my character is a supreme badass. I don't die. Right. You know what I'm saying? And then in this, I get laid out by Bangar Ruinbringer, right? I'm like, get back here, Bangar. Let's go. I don't die. Like, I hate it when the game devalues my character like that. It really bugs me.
And then the whole thing, because you're knocked out by the arrow, you're just laying there on the ground. You can't fend for yourself. Krisha and Ritlock are losing their mind. And then all of a sudden, Bram, the chosen one, who couldn't become the wolf, but now has the power of the spirits, who were actually able to help assist in the fight against the Whisper of Jormag. Bram becomes the wolf. He assumes wolf form. As Norn do, that is the original
he goes
that
bananas.
No one ever uses, but he goes
and I don't know if you saw it. It's hard to see, but he attacks Ryland.
He attacked Ryland.
Yeah. He goes for Ryland, even though Bangar's the one
who laid you out.
Ryland's just standing there.
Ryland's just standing there.
Bram and Ryland were like, Bram thought they were kind of buds, right? And then he got betrayed.
He was thinking that
he's got it out for Ryland.
Of his own. Yes. So he went after Ryland, and then Bangar and Ryland apparently just bugger off and take credit for the kill. The Whisper disappears. And here we are. Ritlock and Krisha have to get their senses back together, and then they carry you off. And where do they carry you off to?
The Eye of the North. Which it doesn't really explain, because the Eye of the North is still really far away on the map, as far as I'm aware. I don't know if it implies that we find Aurene there, right?
How did we get there, though?
That's what I'm thinking. Like, either they dragged us there, or the game is implying that, like, Aurene picked us up and gave us a ride, like she's a taxi driver, even though she's an Elder Dragon. I don't know. But yeah, we ended up there, right?
We ended up in the Eye of the North.
It doesn't really matter, yeah.
Yeah. So maybe we'll find out how we got there. I don't know. But so we're in the Eye of the North. Now, for players who haven't played through Guild Wars 1 and don't have your little Hall of Monuments portal stone in your inventory, and cannot...
That's true. Non-Guild Wars 1 players might have never seen this instance.
Exactly. This instance is the awesome sauce. And now it's like been Aurenified. So
for this instance, not for the
for
location.
This instance, which I'll talk about in a second, because it was annoying to me that we didn't get Aurene hanging out in our own. But so for this instance, you know, it's been Aurenified. It's very pretty, and Aurene is just hanging out there, looking more glint-like than I've seen her look in ever.
Yeah. Well, and she's an elder dragon. Like, she's an elder dragon, right? She's very small here. I assume elder dragons can just change their size like it will. Because she's got to be, like, if you're an elder dragon, you got to be bigger than that, right?
Maybe she's still, you know.
Do elder dragons have, like, do they get bigger as time goes on as they go through cycles of devouring
magic? That's the implication of the game, right?
Yeah.
But she's hanging out in the Eye of the North, which I thought was kind of cool.
It was kind of cool. Yeah, I like that they brought that instance in, because Eye of the North is a cool instance.
It is. Yeah. It is. And having spent a lot of time in Eye of the North, you know, I was kind of happy to be back there.
Yeah, that's true. Chat is mentioning that they prefer Bram to be the chosen one to the player character. I just don't like the concept of chosen ones in stories at all. So I would like them to not take that route with anything ever again. But that's just me.
So
we have kind of a long discussion with Aurene.
We had a long discussion with Aurene in the Eye of the North, and she tells us basically that Jormag seems to have just let Bangar and us just get away, live another day. So Jormag is basically trying to play us for reasons unknown or not clear yet.
And she says that because you can ask her questions afterwards, and you're like, so what's the deal with Jormag? And she's just like, bro, I don't fucking know. Like, she basically just like, dude, Jormag is weird. Yeah. She basically just straight up tells you Jormag is a weirdo. Right? I don't know what their deal is.
He's a cagey one.
Yeah, Jormag's kind of a different sort of deal, although not really, because like Morgemoth was he would mess with you and stuff, right? He would. Morgemoth. And I know that all the elder dragons are supposed to get power before the neckbeards in the chat come out of the woodwork, right? Like, I know that all the powers are supposed to distribute so that each dragon gets a bit of the dead dragon's powers, right? So it makes sense that Jormag is kind of on this whole telekinetic type of deal, right?
But he's telepathic, been like that since Guild Wars 1. He persuades.
Well, yeah, doing the thing with Svanir, which is of course what this is based off of, right? Because Svanir hears the voices, right? And so that's them explaining it with Drakkar being the voice of not Morgemoth, but Jormag. Kind of makes sense, right? It kind of makes sense.
Amala points out that there's missing dialogue in the Aurene instance that'll be put back in the next patch. Oh,
wait, what was the chat you just read?
There's missing dialogue in the Aurene instance. It'll be put back in the next patch, Altamide, which is
in the next patch. Is in the next story patch? Is in 2.5 months from now?
No, I'm gonna think it's a next bug.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So they're like, hey, everybody, could you go play through that whole thing again because we added new dialogue? I mean, I'll do it. Actually, no, I'll watch the Wooden Potatoes video on it. I'm not gonna actually do it myself.
So that's the thing. You reunite with your friends. We're no closer to being able to convince Ryland that Bangar's a baddie. Bram saved you, or kinda, by becoming the wolf. And we got to the thing. Did you jump in the scrying pool?
I didn't. What happened?
She has dialogue for that as well.
Oh, I didn't know that. Is there an achievement for it?
I can't remember. There might be, but yeah, if you jump in the scrying pool, she says, "Oh, I see you're drawn to the scrying pool as well." And
gotcha.
It starts talking about how the scrying pool is connected to Power of Tyria.
That would be dope if like we started setting up shop at the Eye of the North as like the Dragon's Watch Guild Hall. That would be sick.
Cool.
I'd be so down. And they start using, because they use the scrying pool as like a plot device in Guild Wars 1. If we started using the scrying pool again, be like, all right, where's Bangar now? Right. There he is. Yeah. You know? I don't know, dude. I like the Eye of the North.
Because the scrying pool in Guild Wars 1 did kind of give you glimpses.
It gave you these like wild ass visions. Yeah.
Yeah, which is kind of like what we've used what's his name's machine? Omad's machine.
Yeah.
Same visions, funky
But it's
visions
like-
of Tyria.
They could. It doesn't have to
Alter,
function
yeah.
exactly the same
No,
way
of
for every
course
person,
not.
right? So they could alter the functionality of it to fit the plot however they want, right? It's,
Ink says that it's gonna be your super friend's hideout. Yeah, man, I'm down for that.
it look like one, doesn't it? Though
Yeah.
it really does. It
Yeah,
really
I
does.
mean, it's where you put up your big tapestries in Guild Wars.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh man, I so wish you could import your Guild Wars 1 Hall of Monuments to Guild Wars 2. Everything gets updated textures, like everything
That would be
looks
cool.
super awesome.
So, and I was watching WP's stream after he finished the instance, and he did exactly what I did. It's like, oh, I want to go back and see if Aurene is at my Eye of the North, and she's not, which made me sad. Like, I get it.
She's not there.
I get that they wouldn't want to, I guess, split the player base for Guild Wars 1 veterans and non-Guild Wars 1 veterans to say, oh, look, we've got this special thing. But, guys, if we've been sticking with your franchise since forever, give us a little something.
Yeah.
It'd have been cool. That'd have been a nice reward.
But you know, the people who never played Guild Wars 1 would be like, why can't I have it too? You know?
You can just go play Guild Wars 1.
But I want it now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we can't have those things.
We can't have the nice things. This is why we can't
It
have
has
nice
to be
things.
fair to all the franchise noobs, right?
I just wanted it. So hopefully we will get that. That would be cool if we had it as our base.
Oh yeah, it would. 100%.
So that is how the story ends.
Mhm.
So
Overall, what do you think of it?
overall, I liked the Aurene instance because I thought I was happy to be back in the Eye of the North. I thought that it was very cool looking, very shiny, and Aurene was badass.
According to chat, you don't have to have a Guild Wars 1 account to go to the Eye of the North, so I guess everyone can go there.
What? But
Yeah.
That's a special thing. Can anyone get the Hall of Monuments portal?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Okay, never mind. No, I mean, okay, well then even more reason why they should have just like updated it. That
They should have put Aurene in there, permanent Aurene.
Perma Aurene.
You can buy your little Hall of Monuments upgrades from Aurene. She's a vendor now.
They'll put it in the Gemstore. Yeah, so I liked the Aurene instance a lot. I would have liked to know how we got there, a little bit more explication on like how Aurene got there, why she was drawn to the Eye of the North of all places. Was it because of the scrying pool itself, leyline magic, whatever reasons? Tyria magic? I don't know, but like,
whatever you like. Right?
How was it that Ritlock and Krisha decided to like of all places this was going to be the place to meet up with Aurene? Like, how did that happen? If it was explained in the episode, I clearly missed it.
I think it's just a pretty safe place. If anything, it's closer to Jormag, right? Because it's further north. It's closer to the.
That was the thing about Eye of the North. It's like you could go out and then you'd have dungeons right there on your footsteps. Yeah. So yeah.
That would be great if they made it into a.
So in Guild Chat, they said they're looking into making something to teleport you to the instance.
Oh, so that we don't have to replay the whole story episode?
What, for the additional dialogue?
Yeah, for the additional dialogue they made.
Well, but other than that, I thought there were parts of it that were cool. I thought overall the story wasn't as strong as the previous two.
It's the weakest one out of the three for this season for me. Yeah. The pacing at the end was just so rushed. It all happened so fast at the end of that. Like, you go from Drakkar to Whisper to Bangar and Ryland in with a doppelganger of you weirdly shoehorned in there.
Yeah.
Right. Like it happens so quick. It's very badly paced. Not badly. Bad's the wrong word to use. It's just I personally think it was paced too fast to really get invested in each section of what was happening.
And I understand that the doppelganger was supposed to have been like Jormag trying to get into your head yet again.
Yeah, they have used that mechanic a lot though, and Yeah, it didn't really. It's my least favorite episode of the. It's not bad. It's not a bad episode. I like playing the Living World episodes. I like this one, but it's the weakest of the three for this saga.
And so we should be getting another one probably in about 2 months or so, if they stick to their cadence.
2.5-ish, I think. Then they have stuck to the cadence too, because they released mid-November last time. 2.5 months later would put us this week. So they've stuck to that. I don't want to hear anybody going like, "We get 2 hours of content every 6 months." It's not like that anymore, guys. they stuck to it this time.
Just making them stick to their deadlines. So that would put us. We're in February, March, April. So around SAB time or right after.
Yeah. Yep. If you're not too busy grinding SAB for this year's round of infusions, completing Tribulation mode 50 times every world. For what colors have they not done yet? Purple weapons. Yeah, probably gonna go purple next. For all the
we've not had purple weapons. We've had the branded weapons.
I don't. No, I mean for the SAB weapons.
Oh.
I don't think we have purple ones yet. No Mace Windu cosplays yet.
The thing that we haven't talked about, because now that I think that pretty much puts the episode itself to bed. We've got a big balance patch coming. Big balance patch coming. It's mainly affecting, or it's more deeply affecting or impacting World v World. And
yes. Before I talk about the balance,
go for it.
1 second.
Okay. Oh, AFK break. So before we get into the balance patch, guys, any other thoughts from chat? It's yourselves on the game itself, the story itself. Do you guys care for it? Like it? Wish for it? And you guys are like, now you jumped down the rabbit hole of Super Adventure Box.
Oh yeah, no, we're not talking about SAB. I don't want to do that.
No. We mentioned SAB and now chat has kind of started talking about SAB. So SAB Super Adventure Box is the April Fools or April Festival that comes in. If you Google up or go to the wiki and search for Super Adventure Box, you'll find it. It's like a 8-bit game within the game. It's got some lore background of an Asura who's created this box, and players can go in, and it's literally you walk around, and it's very 8-bit style, kind of platformer style game. It's kind of fun. And they've got different worlds that you can get through that are increasing difficulty.
It's a really well-designed little game that's not Guild Wars 2.
No, it has nothing to do with Guild Wars 2, but it exists as a festival. Yeah.
Yep.
And a lot of players love it to death. They brought it back as a festival.
Josh has the infusions. Did you know that? He has the lunatic level grind infusions. They're cool, but I can't grind SAB to that extent. It's insane.
It was brought in first as an April Fool's joke, and the player base loved it so much, clamored for it. SAB or Riot was the meme in the community, that they did finally bring it back and made it into a festival. So it comes back every April.
Yeah, it's not a bad little thing. It's not really my cup of tea.
Which is all right. Everyone has their own things that they like in the game, and that's okay.
Yeah.
So the big balance patch that's coming is impacting primarily competitive play. Some PvE changes. But I feel like the PvE changes are going to be not as deeply affecting the game as much as the PvP WW ones will.
I won't go as far as to say that PvE balance doesn't matter, because it does. Things can be broken, right? But balance is a bit more of a sticky issue in PvP and WW than it is in PvE. Like, it's a little easier to throw out changes in PvE than it is to just... You have to be a little more meticulous about how you do things in PvP and WW. So that tends to be why those balance changes get focused on more by the player base. I'm really excited about them. I haven't even looked over all of them. They're nerfing a lot of stuff. They're scaling numbers back. Like
Yeah.
they are changing damage coefficients to be lower.
Mm-hmm.
And they are editing a lot of high damage crowd control skills to not put out high damage, so that you have to actually combo your skills together to play well. It's just, as far as the broad philosophy of what it means to be good, it's a good change for PvP purposes and World v World. So I'm pretty excited about it.
It sounds like it's going to be very good for the state of the game. And the big thing is that the balance patches are going to be coming regularly cadenced, and also in the middle of PvP seasons, they're saying. Which
I
is
don't
something
know. It seems like balance matches have always been pretty regular, though.
Well,
We
but
get like
they've
3 or
tended to
4 a
be
year, don't we?
right, but they've tended to come either after a season or just before, never in the middle to shake things up. And if I'm not mistaken, let me pull it up so that I can say.
The only
whether or
reason
not
I
I'm
say that
lying.
is because it felt like we were discussing a balance patch every freaking episode of this show.
Because our
And it
show
would
is so
annoy the
freaking.
hell out of me.
Every
And
time
so
we
when
come back
people-
with it for
yeah,
a
when
show, they
people
kind of thing.
when people complain and be like, they never do balance patches, I was like, the fuck they don't. Like,
So the specific they say in the patch, in the post, the specific cadence for balance will always depend on our overall release schedule, but ideally it will be closer to every 4 to 6 weeks, while still having the opportunity to make minor tweaks outside of the regular balance update. The goal here is to have better flexibility to fix problems in a timely manner. So if they stick to 4 to 6 weeks and you've got PvP seasons happening and off balance patches coming.
that would be a-okay. I think some people might be bothered by that, like, you changed it up when I had a build I like, but balance is good, so I don't have a problem with it. Retro Raven, how much more squishy will Elementalist be? Elementalist is the most survivable class in the game. Weavers are unkillable. How much more squishy? What do you mean?
So there are some trait changes, and you know what? Let me link these in. If you have not seen the PvP and WW post, is literally pretty much the same post for competitive, but there are going to be some significant changes to Elementalists. Some of the big traits are getting changed. Obsidian Flesh is kind of not going a toughness thing. It's going to be a damage reduction trait, but the trade-off is elementals that you can summon. You can kind of summon at will and have them around. So, but not permanently like minions, which I thought was interesting. Like necro minions, I mean.
Kind of like Renegade Legends. Except not AoEs though.
The Renegade Legends things that Renegades are getting some love. Revenants are getting some love, but they're taking, I think it was Confusion away from Malix and giving him more Torment, which they said felt thematically appropriate for Malix. I would agree.
I don't play Condi Rev. I know it's good though. I know it's big money DPS. I just don't play it.
Condi Rev was the thing that I fell in love with during the betas when Revenants were still being introduced, and then they nerfed it, and now it's kind of been on a comeback through the Renegade Elite spec, which I've yet to learn, even though I have it unlocked. So this might just motivate me to actually go after the Renegade properly. I'm kind of good about that.
Yeah. I mean, I never really read into balance changes specifically. I like the philosophy they're going into this one with it.
Yeah.
As someone who dabbles in PvP, I don't play it a lot, but I play a few games here and there. It'll be a little more rewarding to try and play well. I think with these new changes, I'm excited about that.
Yeah, and I just linked into chat the general global preview, which explains a bit more about their philosophy. If you really want to go crazy, and trying to get an in-depth understanding of what all they're talking about with these balance changes. Mighty Teapot had a really long stream today going into it. He did a deep dive into it, so you can find his VOD if you want to. And then WP and Boots are going to be releasing a video on it soon. I don't think it's hit yet, but that should be out pretty quickly. So yeah. So balance is coming.
My mic was muted and I was trying to talk.
Okay.
I was just saying the combined brain power in those two videos is like approaching Einstein levels. So I would recommend going and watching those.
Yeah, don't listen to us because our depth of theory crafting is not very deep. It's very we know what we know and we learn.
Hey, if you want the brain power on this podcast is dedicated to hating on the Gemstore. Right?
It's not dedicated to hating on the Gemstore at all. No, we just have fun. So yeah. So that is the balance patch. It's coming sometime February. They haven't really settled on a date yet, I don't think. They are still taking player feedback. And so all of the changes that they have announced are still subject to review. Happened. Some traits are being retired, some traits are being reworked and renamed. So you can go and check out what you like about your favorite class to see how things might be changing for you.
Yeah, for sure.
And then we've got the Gemstore. So
two splendid items on the
splendid
Gemstore.
items.
Well, one is in Black Lion Chest and the other is on the Gemstore.
Yes. Which one do you want to lead with? The Black Lion Chest item?
Yeah, let's talk about the black. Let's save the for last.
Okay.
So they have a whale spirit glider, I want to say, in the Black Lion Chest, and I don't know if they're being self-aware naming it a whale glider, or if it's unironically named a whale glider. But I just think it's really funny that they named it the whale glider because you're a whale if you have this item.
You get to swim with the whales.
It's a pretty well animated item, to be fair. It's pretty extravagant.
And they made essentially a commercial for it.
They did, yeah. We're really going down the rabbit hole on the Gemstore with that company. Like
if you missed it, and then they went and put one of the prettiest areas in Rapid Fire. Look at that.
Yeah. And
you've got whales and seahorses. You got little fish. You got bubbles, and you get to swim. So if you miss underwater combat, because no one likes to play underwater combat in this game, you can go swim in the air.
Just at the end of the commercial, gamble for it.
Yeah, gamble for it, and it's in the Black Lion Chest.
Yeah, so if you wanna gamble, guys, that's in the Guild Wars 2 slot machine.
Yes, and then there is everyone's favorite meme. This is the Sacred Pegasus griffon skin, which the community has lovingly started referring to as the Pepegasus.
It is something.
There you have it.
It is disastrous.
And our friend over at W2 Fans has done a preview video. So I thought, why not? Give you some 1080p beauty.
It's just such a massive yikes.
You can see this preview of the griffin skin.
Why is its horn curved? Unicorn horns don't curve. Why are its feet like that?
There are some Pegasus iterations throughout mythology that are a unicorn. The majority are just horses. So that they made this a winged unicorn rather than a winged horse.
But look at the feet.
He's really sad looking.
His front feet are griffin feet, and they're like together, and then his back feet are horse feet, and they're like apart.
It's yeah.
It's so horrific.
I
And his eyes are like just
his
dead.
eyes are very sad and dead.
The eyes are soulless.
Yeah.
Oh
So
my God.
if you've seen the memes from Reddit or on Twitter,
Yeah.
yeah, the Pepegasus, as the community is calling it, just kind of sad looking.
Honestly, when's the last time you got your griffin out?
Today actually.
Really? I don't
Usually
use anything except Skyscale anymore. That's all I use.
I use the sky scale, but sometimes the sky scale moves a little too slowly, and so I'll bust out the griffin because he's a little bit.
The slowness is worth not having a mouse swap to me. I don't know.
Fair.
Yeah, the Skyscale is all I use at this point. But yeah, this thing looks awful. I can't imagine buying this. I bet they get a lot of sales off of it though for the meme value. I bet a lot of people will buy it just for the meme.
So, yeah, I mean, I know that Roka did.
Yes, this is $25.
Yeah, this is a 2,000 gem skin, and you know, you can trade gold for. You can exchange gold for gems.
God, how much gold is that? 2,000 gems.
It's
Gotta be several. Like
a lot.
it's got to be approaching
I don't know
1,000
what the conversion
gold.
is right now, but yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be several hundred gold at least.
It is. There you go.
I don't know what the exchange rate is. It could be even more than that. I have no idea. I know it's high though.
I have deliberately not bought keys because my Black Lion chest key RNG for these things is very good, and I would undoubtedly get it in the 4th or 5th key. So I'm holding off until he's no longer in the Black Lion chest.
Run every character through the story and map complete as you go. You'll have so many keys that you can play around with. Although there is a theory going around that in-game keys are
a different loot table from I firmly believe that. My RNG is always better off of bot keys than
which is highly illegal if that's true. It's like that's really bad if they do that, but you almost feel that way, you know.
So there you have it.
They released a new logging item. It's like an icy one. It's your standard infinite gathering tool.
It kind of looks like the frost wasp one.
I lose track of all of them. Yeah.
But yeah, so that infinite logging tool is available for 1,000 gems. The glacial logging tool.
Chat asking if that's just a rumor. Yeah, no, that's not confirmed. We're not slandering ArenaNet here. But it's just like a crackpot tinfoil hat theory.
It's my tinfoil hat theory as well.
Yeah.
It's been my tinfoil hat theory for many years now.
Yeah.
And I know I'm not the only one who thinks that.
Arctic saying that he gets better stuff from map comp rewards. So there you go. A counter opinion, right?
Counter opinion, yes. So, yep. So that's the Sacred Griffin Pegasus, 2,000 gems, or dropping from Black Lion chests.
Enjoy your nightmares about that tonight.
Yes, the hashtag Pepegasus.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Yep. And that's pretty much that pretty much covers about everything from the patch.
Yeah.
Like, oh, your cat's like yawning behind you.
Is he really? Yeah, he tends to do that.
But like, yeah, the patch was like, I think it was the weakest one so far in the saga, but it's not bad. Like it's new content, which I always enjoy. So they put a lot of effort into the new puzzles. So if you're into that, this patch probably felt cooler to you. But since I'm not into it,
yeah, I'm looking forward to checking out the meta and the strikes as well. Now that the difficulty has increased to a place where I'm like, okay, I feel like I'll be challenged. Go jump in it. So yeah. I'll, as always, I'm curious of where they're going to take the story, because I do like story.
Yep.
I am looking forward to playing through on a char. Have you done that yet?
No, I've only done the one playthrough.
Or have you done the others?
What do you mean?
Char? I mean, you've done the other...
Oh, yeah. I played through... I don't pay attention to the dialogue on anything past my first playthrough, though.
I am I even bothering to ask you? You're just the completionist. Yeah, no, I pay attention to those things because I think it's cool. But yeah, I'm enjoying my playthrough on the Norn, and I'll be looking forward to. I've heard good things about the Char.
Yeah, so that's our 2 hour long review on the patch.
That's all I got. Aaron, where can the good people find you?
Just Monk on Twitter, and then just twitch.tv/Monk on Twitch, and Monk on YouTube. All those monks are with 2 M's.
Yeah, and you can find those links below.
There's links to my Discord on all those things as well.
Yes, the Champions Lounge. If you can't get enough of Aaron, I occasionally will chime into the general channel, but I tend not to.
Yeah.
Unless I see something being said that's really outrageous that I feel strongly that I need to reply.
There's a lot of outrageous things said in there.
I know. Other than that, I'm just kind of like, I'll just let the insanity roll because it's funny. And if you want to follow me, you can follow me at InkySticks everywhere: Twitch, Twitter, YouTube. You can also follow us at TyriaNow on Twitch. Here, you can hit that follow button. On Twitter as well, and our YouTube channel. So yeah, give us a follow. I'm gonna be working on the VOD editing for this episode, and to see what we can do. I'm gonna have to splice VODs together to get our episode all in one place, and to see what I can do about the audio video sync issues that were happening. So yeah. But yeah, we will be live next with every release week. So we'll see you in a couple of months, guys.
See you for the next part of the saga.
Enjoy your game, enjoy your game time, and for coming out tonight. We'll see you next time.
See you guys.
Good night.